Good. So we are live. Bobby, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Nate. You playing a little pool tonight?
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of a pool tournament
Well, I'm glad we had to have a conversation. It's been a weird day for pool, but it's kind of been a weird year. I've been playing pool my whole life, and I can tell you it's the strangest year I've ever seen.
right now. It sure is something, isn't it? It's a lot of goods. This is kind of a weird thing, but I guess why don't we just jumping right in? I guess we're bringing you on because you had the private room that Jayson actually ran his 714, 669, whatever it is. We'll get into that in a little bit. But why don't you take us through a little bit more about who you actually are and what you do in the industry that got you to the point where Jayson was playing out of your private club?
I'd like to. Yeah, I guess I could just tell you how we got started here. I've been wanting to put something together for about 20 years, and with something with high runs and get something going. I have a big background in straight pool. Many friends I know with straight pool. I knew Willie Mosconi. I knew Luther Lasker. I'm probably the only guy that he ever spent some time with. When I was a teenager, and I wanted to get something done with doing high runs. And I never really got a venue until a good friend of mine had opened an academy called Streetlights Billiards Academy in Alexandria, Virginia. And I wanted to do something for years. Mark Griffin, I spoke to him 6, 7 years ago about this, about wanting to do something, and he wanted involved. He ended up adding to some prize money. That's it. And I pretty much did everything else. And he awarded Jayson $10,000 on top of what I also gave Jayson for his record that he ran. And we just wanted to get something going, let people know that this was an idea that was going to be done a long time ago, many years ago. I had wanted to do this, and me and Mark Griffin had talked about doing something. So there was nothing in particular that started me to do this. Just want to let you know that. And that being said, can you still hear me, Nate?
Yeah, no problem. I'm just trying to mute myself so that you get the proper floor.
I'm not the technology person. I know you are. So I just wanted that not many people have tried to break Mosconi's record. I've interviewed all the pros out there that I can think of, and I only know 2 people that have ever tried to break Mosconi's record before I started my event, and that was John Schmidt and Earl Strickland. Not hundreds of people or anything, just a few people. And to be honest with you, because there really wasn't no incentive, unless it was ego-driven or money-driven. And on my end, maybe it was money-driven to try to get players to go. And we're going to have some women and some challenge matches, some other things here to help promote straight pool. So anything that's happening right now is all good. So I'm really happy to see what's going on.
So for anybody that's tuning in and watching, I'm actually playing in the middle of a pool tournament today because this is news that was not supposed to be dropped today. We were not supposed to be doing this podcast, were we, Bobby?
Well, yeah, I mean, it just kind of all happened so fast. I just want to make sure I tell everybody the exact process of everything that happened. With the run of what's happened, all the way down to the BCA and how they're sorting it out. Last year, putting in some stuff together. We had a Gold Crown 3 that we set up, or that was set up. The only thing we did on that table is just remove the facings, put some new facings on it. The BCA has gone through everything they can do to discredit Jayson's runs, to not certify it or make it as hard as they could. So even in the printing that they have, and I have a copy of the email, there was no modifications done to any of the slate lips. It wasn't sand or anything. The pocket angles. The table was 100% legit. It had 760 Simonis cloth on it. And being brand new cloth, the cloth definitely, and the balls come right out of the box and polished. It definitely made for an easier table, but harder to control the cue ball whenever the cloth is that slick. We had that table recovered on the 16th. On the 17th, I played on it on the 17th, and I ran 282 on the table and had to quit because I was busy and had phone calls that didn't stop. I stopped right at the beginning of a rack. So I ran 282 on the 17th. Jayson comes in. and just tears it apart. It's the same table. Nothing was done different than what was Shane or Earl or Ruslan played on. The only difference was the cloth wasn't 2 months old when Jayson came in. It was brand new. But no, nothing else was done to the table. So the table was not modified at all, and the BCA has gone through everything you can imagine to what they can to try to discredit the run. I will want to say a thanks to Ivan Lee. Ivan Lee is first class. He's a nice guy. And I'm glad and for all he does to sponsor pool. Without him, it's sort of like, with Diamond and Rasson tables. Without them, we wouldn't really have pool right now. So all the people that are out there to do everything for pool, I just want to say thank you. And thank you to you too, Nate, for keeping it real and keeping the truth out there. So,
so let's actually get jumped into like the reason why we're talking today. So there was an announcement today made, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was made on AZ Billiards, which is kind of weird to make public announcements to there, but okay, whatever. That Jayson Shaw's 714 is no longer valid for all ball foul runs, and it is now going to be a 669 for the all ball foul run, and the non-all ball foul run is going to be 714. That's correct?
Yes, that's not actually correct. Nothing's not invalid. The BCA, Ivan Lee, the president, has said the run is still 714. If you look on the BCA website in the BCA dash pool and also WPA dash pool under Rule and Regulation 21, it clearly states in there cue ball fouls only, especially when a referee's not right there for any reason, if the referee's not present. So they admit that everything falls under Rule 21, but they feel because this is so prestigious of such a big thing, one of the biggest records in our sport, that they feel they want to go to WPA tournament rules instead of going by their guidelines that's printed on their website. So Jayson actually has a 714 run and a 669 run. So there's actually 2 runs here that are out there. So officially by tournament rules 669, by the BCA and WPA rules and guideline Rule 21, if y'all spend some time to look it up, you'll see cue ball fouls only. So he has a 714. The BCA has said that we can say 714. They do not object to it, and they don't deny it. You can even see in the press release that they just whipped up that they say he did run 714. Be honest with you, I was kind of glad the run stopped at some point. I was very tired at 51 racks. I wasn't saying go ahead and miss Jayson, but enough's enough. You know what I mean? The point was proven.
It was late, right?
Well, it was like almost 9 in the morning. And point proven was that I had said that nobody has ever tried to beat Mosconi's record but 2 people. That's John Schmidt and Earl Strickland. There's going to be deflectors of that. I know more about pool history than just about anybody, and I can tell you I've interviewed everybody, even all the way down to Wimpy Lassiter's nephew. I've interviewed, I've talked to Siegel, Varner, Hopkins, everybody. Nobody's ever tried to break Mosconi's record because there was no purpose in it. And by the way, Mosconi's record wasn't 526. Willie had told me he broke 600 3 to 4 times, knowingly also a 609 for sure. But he never counted it because he felt that if he didn't have an opponent, it didn't count. So that's the way that Willie always looked at it. One of the last times I saw Willie was in like 88 or 89 in Nashville, Tennessee, and we had talked about that. So from there, I guess where we're at is Jayson has 2 records now instead of 1, which that's interesting. We're not upset about that at all. There's a few things that are a little bit weird. I wouldn't say upsetting, but I had got written write-up from the BCA, and they would write something up, and then it let me know to make sure the spelling and everything else was correct, and then it got changed, and then it got changed again. Basically, it's not Ivan Lee. There's another guy at the BCA. He's in the goalpost business. I don't know if you know what that means, but y'all out there, but he moves the goalposts, and that's basically what it is. Every time that there's something that gets done and it's clear, because I've done nothing but comply with the BCA from the very start. This guy with the BCA keeps moving the goalposts, and everything keeps changing. So let's start out from the beginning. I was told when I first asked this representative from the BCA about cue ball fouls and all ball fouls, he couldn't answer me. He just said, just make sure you have a video and some witnesses, and that would be it. Because he admitted to me that he didn't play pool. He's a hot tub salesman. So he really didn't know much about pool. This is the same guy that certified John's run. So in either case, so I complied with everything, and I was told right after Jayson broke the record, which was an amazing record what John did, 626 balls is phenomenal. When Jayson runs 714, he ended up, he told me, he says, all you got to do is just have two reputable people look at the video. And I asked him if these people were sufficient. He says, yes. So I drove from Washington, D.C. to Indiana to the Derby City, and I had two very reputable people. An 8-time world champion, Nick Varner, saw the video in a private viewing, and I never interrupted him the whole time. He kept ball count and also looked for fouls. And then upstate Al Leone, and had him look through it, and they both signed off on it. They both signed an affidavit of forgery. There was no foul seen. I want to make sure I make something clear, too. We have sold over 1,400 videos. So we probably have 5,000 plus people that have seen this video. Nobody has seen this foul. When I went to Denver and I was going to go there, the BCA representative that was handling this had told me he wanted to see the video for himself. Upstate Al and Nick Varner were no longer good enough, even though they signed affidavits and everything. So the goalpost moved for the first time. The next thing that happened, Nate, was I went to Denver at the Westin Hotel. If y'all know where that's at, it's connected to the airport. I got an executive suite. Not that money was an object, but $900 for that night. And there was a 70-inch TV in this executive office suite. And there were 6 hand-selected committee members, not 5. There were 6. They got that wrong. That was done by this BCA representative, unless he's not counting himself as a committee member. And the day before I got there, this BCA representative, I told him, and he got a hold of me, and I said, look, I'll be there tomorrow. I gave him a time. He said, that meeting at 12 o'clock is fine. I've got a meeting at 11 o'clock with some people at the same hotel. I'm like, oh, that's pretty coincidental. Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, when you're done with that, the agreement that we have would be that you're going to see the video, nobody else. It's only 2 hours and 39 minutes. Jason's shot lightning speed. This was remarkable what he did. So then he comes back and tells me, he says, no, I have 4 more people that are going to look at it. And I said, well, that's not our agreement, but if that's what you need, fine. He says, well, if you don't agree to it, then you can just, are we allowed to say, are we PG-13 here?
No, you can say whatever you like.
Bobby, if you don't like it, you don't have to fucking fly to Colorado. And I don't have to fucking review this video. I thought that was completely out of line. I never cussed at the guy or nothing. I complied with every which way that I could. And don't get me wrong, I'm not upset. I mean, it's certified and all that. It's just that I'm a real stickler for rules and regulations and things being done proper. So, Nate, from that point, I guess where we're at is before the video started, I was explaining that this is a committee that will make rulings on all high runs from here out. They'll make rulings on everything right there on the spot. And whatever they say at this meeting, it goes. They are the official committee, and they will make future guidelines concerning the runs. So at that point, it's not that I'm cornered. I'm just going to agree with whatever he says. So I get there, and he has another person show up. So now there's 6 people. 2 of these people are video technicians. They have production companies. Another one is a straight pool expert, 2 straight pool experts. Another guy, I really don't want to mention names, but it'll come out, but I'll let it come out elsewhere. And then the representative himself. So they want to make sure there's no ball fouls or anything like that, even though the rules, they had told me the rules are cue ball fouls only. So the 45th ball in, it appears that a ball may have been touched. Now, I've had this reviewed by several video experts, including everybody, all the video guys at my place, and they think it's either the autofocus on the camera or with Jayson pressing down on the cloth, the ball appears to move. So his stick, he's shooting from the left side of the table. His stick goes backwards to the left, and the ball appears to move to the right. So, obviously, there's no way that can happen that goes the opposite way if we're saying his stick is what caused the ball. So
if you're okay with me jumping in here, Bobby, if you don't mind, because I actually have seen the tapping of the 3-ball, and I watched it probably. I feel like I watched it 15 times, and I still
the 9-ball.
Can't,
it was a 9-ball, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, the 9-ball. And I still can't tell as to whether or not it moved. I'm not convinced it moved, but I'm also not convinced it didn't move. So it's really tough. It's a very nuanced thing. It's tough, but I just wanted to get
I hired, beside my technicians, my IT guys that are great, I actually hired some people that do this for a living. I hired a guy that makes millions of dollars to look at this video. He came back and said it's inconclusive. He cannot see something actually moving the ball. Now, if anybody has the video, you'll see that the scoreboard actually was blinking because the autofocus was out, was on actually. And the reason for that, all my IT guys have gone to sleep because at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, they were done for the night. And we didn't think a record was going to be broken. We just wanted to make sure it was recorded. So what it boils down to at that point was it's inconclusive, but this representative with the BCA really had it out to discredit Jayson's run. And it's only 45 balls, okay? It's not a big deal. I'm going to tell you why it's not a big deal, because Jayson's coming right back to beat it. I have him scheduled again already, but he's coming real soon now. He just messaged me several times from the UK. So look for him here in the next, next week. Not this week, but the week after, maybe. It's a possibility. I'm not sure, but that's what he's saying. He wants to be get right in the box again. He actually feels that he played bad when he runs 7:14. Nate, you know, Jayson. He's a funny, honest guy. So let's get back to the BCA representative who's in the goalpost moving business. So the goalpost moved again. That committee that was in Denver at the Westin Hotel was supposed to be the people that was the final say in everything. Their final say, they all raised their hands and took a vote. The run stands at 7:14. It's going to be certified at 7:14. They explained the new guidelines and rules that they wanted to see, which I'll get in and explain those to y'all also. And then, so they took a vote, and the vote was unanimous. That unanimous was meaning it was 6-0. Forget my vote. They all voted that 7:14 stands, cue ball fouls only. They can't prove that the ball moved, but it appeared to move. So they just said, this is it. It's 7:14. This representative from the BCA, who's in the goalpost moving business, Mr. Goalpost, that's his new name. So Mr. Goalpost says to me, he shakes my hand. Everybody thanked me. They thought it was the greatest thing in the world to see this video. And at that point, everybody thanked me. He says, you're going to have the certification emailed to you in 24 to 48 hours. Congratulations. And I said, well, congratulate Jayson. I'm not the one who ran these balls. It's Jayson. It's like people are being mad at me for Jayson breaking a record. Well, I just ran the event. Jayson's the one who should get all the credit. And he's not, he's gotten enough credit. We've been on Fox. We've been on NBC. Sports Illustrated is getting ready to interview us. And we just did a thing for 60 minutes, actually 2 different things. And now we're on Cue It Up. I mean, what better does it get? So from there, I guess where we're at, Nate, I've had emails back and forth with Ivan Lee, the president of the BCA, fantastic person. And I guess he's just in a bad position here because this BCA rep really had a hard on for making it very difficult, which it's never been difficult for anything. So we went through so my original thing is I have 2 people that try to affidavit it in Indiana. Then it was reviewed in Colorado, so that was done at that point. So I've complied both times here, even though the goalpost got Mr. Goalpost moved them again. So then the next thing is now they put together another committee of 5 people, consisting of one guy in a video business, 2 Hall of Famers, and a referee. So at that point, they take a vote. The vote they said it was 4 people voted one way and 1 the other way, and the votes were for. They feel it should be implied as tournament rules. So now we have the score is 7-4. 7 people have voted for cue ball fouls only. 4 people have voted for all ball fouls. So from there, I guess, guys, it was that wasn't good enough. So then they have what's called a BCA Players Committee, and I don't even know who the hell is on this. So then they decided to take it to that because there just weren't enough people. And I guess they squeezed it out by 1. I guess it ended up being like 8-7, where they want to go ahead and go under tournament rules. And we're not upset about that at all. We're just upset because the goalpost kept moving all the time. And that's what's really happened. The BCA has gone out of their way to, I'm sorry, the BCA rep, not Ivan. I want to make sure I get that clear. Ivan was a complete gentleman, to really make this very hard. But there is no questions about the table. I want to make sure I get that clear. In the email that I got, this BCA took this out. It was printed up by Ivan Lee. There was no modifications to the pocket angles. There was no modifications to the slate. I have pictures of everything, even with the cloth off. Nothing was filed. Completely legitimate. People just got to understand, when you put 760 cloth on a pool table with polished balls, it will make the pockets looser, and it will be easier to pocket balls. The pockets were 4.9, side pockets 5.3. So there's where we're at. So all legit. So all the people that are saying, talking about this and that, the BCA has gone through all this. They try to discredit. Believe me, this rep really went out of his way to make it very difficult. And that's what's been the holdup. I mean, nothing should take 120 days to certify.
Well, that was going to be my question.
It should have been certified the next week.
So let me ask you this question, because as far as I'm concerned, you guys, or as far as I hear anyways, you guys were as transparent as you could be. You allowed them to come see the video. You allowed them to review it. Why did it take 120 days?
The BCA rep. It just was never enough. The Mr. Goalpost kept moving. You understand what I'm saying? It should have been taken care of. I was told it was going to be taken care of and everything was fine. Once I got the 2 alpha datas from the production guy, Upstate Al, and Nick Varner. If anybody knows Nick Varner, they know he's got to be like the most liked, honest professional out there. Him and Tony Robles, probably the 2 nicest guy in pool, you know, both just like completely gentlemen, and they're not going to throw down or lie for either person. You know, I mean, they're both super honest, and so there's where I'm at. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Nick Varner. I mean, and Nick, let you know, Nick was passing a kidney stone, and he didn't even, when I gave him my room number at my hotel and he reviewed the video there. He didn't even want to go say hi to everybody. He had 73 years old. He had trouble walking. He was so excited because he was the first person to see this video, and he wanted to be the first person to see it, and he was. And he said it was the most amazing thing, Nate. He said it's the most amazing thing that he's ever seen. And then he also says, God, why does he bump so many balls when the break ball's in position? And I used to say that too. I would say, why does Jayson keep bumping these balls? But I never coached Jayson. I mean, before we started, I went through some stuff and I told him, you know, a few things about straight pool. He had never tried for high runs. Nobody has ever tried for high runs. That's what people got to understand. Willie Mosconi did it because he was getting paid by Brunswick, which brings me to the next thing. I want to make sure I make something clear. How many times do you think Willie Mosconi ran 100 or 125 or 150 balls and stopped? We did the stats, and you're going to be mind blown when you hear this.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
It's got to be more than 1,000. It's got to be.
How many?
1,000. More than 1,000.
18 to 20,000. He was doing it twice a day for 15 years. Not forget tournaments. So do the math there, okay? 15 years. That's 12,000 right there. I asked Nick how many times that he's run 100, 125 and stopped. And he said thousands. I said, well, give me an idea, Nick. How many? He said maybe 7,000 or 8,000 times. I've ran 100 balls. I used to practice to run 100 every day, and I would quit. I'd make my break shot, make one more ball after 7 laps, I'd quit. I'm probably between 8 and 1,100 times myself. Forget about then you got Hopkins, Lassiter. There's probably 50,000 runs out there that were unfinished, Nate. I want you all to know that. But see, nobody ever had an incentive
Sure.
to try to keep going.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Never.
So let me ask you this question then.
Yeah.
You're saying, I mean, you keep coming back to this unsolicited. Nobody's had an incentive to do it, right? We're creating incentive to do this right now, and in fact, we even see John Schmidt's going back and trying to run. Today, we saw that some stuff came out with one of his runs where it's possible he didn't rack the balls in the right spot. I didn't exactly look back at it, but I saw quite a bit of dust up on Facebook. You got him going back and doing it again. Jayson said the first thing he's doing once he gets back is going over and trying it again. You're trying to get Earl in there again. You're trying to get Ruslan in. I mean, how many people are you actually working with to try to get in there to try to break this record again?
All right. Well, let me get a few things clear here. I mean, I'll go to the John Schmidt thing and everything at the end, but I will touch on that right now. Okay. I don't know what happened with John Schmidt until my phone blew up. I had so many messages, it was unbelievable. I had pictures sent to me. The thing that's strange is that he is using a perma rack, which is the same thing we were using, the little clear stickers that are on the table, and using a ball rack. So what happened was the video clip that got sent to me, because I didn't watch it until it got sent to me, was he took a 12 ball when the rack was done and set it at the end of the rack to see if he was, before the balls were even racked, the racker got to the table to see if he was blocked shooting an 8 ball. You can see his expression. He was clearly blocked. So then he whispers over to the guy racking the balls, whatever he whispered. Next thing you know, they rack the balls high, and you can only see the end of the table spot, and John has a shot on the 8 ball. So I had some screenshots sent to me and some video clips from people I don't even know. I don't know why they come to me, but in either case, the balls were clearly racked high. And that's really not a good thing, which makes it look like there could be some other problems with some other things going on at other times that happen in runs too. But it doesn't really matter because Jayson, has the BCA record. Does the BCA matter, to be honest with you? No, we don't feel so anyway. But we wanted to establish it through the BCA because it goes into the rule books and stuff like that.
People who listen to the podcast know I'm not a huge fan of BCA. So,
well, you know what? I gave them $500 a year for 20 years to be a part of the BCA. When I had my retail stores and when I sold out, then, I was done with them anyway. But in either case, we're going to establish some other things. We're going to hopefully get the ladies in here soon. I've got a few lined up. Now, you had asked about Ruslan. I don't know if he will be back. I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't spoke to him since December. Earl's welcome to come back. I haven't really talked too much about that, but he said he wants to come back. I've got conversation with Filler. Now I don't know where that stands at anymore because he's playing in Europe so much. Fedor is a good friend of mine. He wanted to play. He said Bobby 700 is just too many. I'm not really sure. So, but I think I'm going to be able to get him in here. Darren Appleton's going to participate. I got a long list of players that are ready to go.
Is Neight Mindham on that list?
What's that?
Is Neight Mindham on that list of people you want to get in there?
I can put you on the second. Actually, you're going to be on the third tier. Okay.
Third tier. All right. I'll take that.
Okay. The first tier of players, in case everybody wants to know, I put together a committee of things. So that way, even if my finances taking care of everything, so that way it's not favoritism. So if 3 people vote one way and 2 the other way, and I'm part of the 2, that's the way it goes. And part of what we have, the very first thing was you have to have a world championship in order to participate on the first tier of players at the Legends of Pocket Billiards. The next thing you have to do is have a positive attitude. Well, we know Earl is a little questionable there, but Earl handled himself so well, you would not believe it. He never cussed me. He cussed the table. He said there's no way anybody can ever run 300 or 400 balls in this table because it just wasn't easy. It wasn't. And look at Shane, the best player that we have in America. He tried his heart out and ran 308. And let me tell you something, that's an amazing run. That table is not playing easy. When that cloth starts getting a little war after 2 months, and if you don't know, 760 wears out quicker than 862. It wasn't easy. Shane struggled. Jayson didn't struggle as much. First of all, he's an eagle eye. The guy can pocket a ball from a mile away. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, Jayson played great under the conditions. It's really hard to control the cue ball on brand new cloth. And we had discussed that about shortening up his stroke and the 3-ball in pattern, which I showed him, and it really went well for him. He's really been excited the last few weeks to come back and play. And now after our conversation today that we had through Messenger, he's even more excited. He really wants to run 1,000. 800 is not going to do it for him.
What do you think? Do you think he can? Do you think it's possible?
No.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. I think it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think anybody's ever going to run 700 again. And the reason being is, do I want it to happen? Sure. But the reason being is, let me tell you a little about the weather conditions also that were here. We were in a snow and ice storm for 3 days here. It was very difficult to play. If this was in the middle of summer, things would have been a lot different. The whole place was packed full of people all the way till the morning. We probably had 25 people here. So when that happens, the table's playing real wet. So those conditions were not ideal. I think if Jayson didn't scratch on that break shot at 714, he may still be shooting. So
that's why I think 7 could be ran again. I do.
Yeah, I think it can be. I don't think it will be, but I'm rooting for him. Sure. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Until I see Josh Filler try it, I'm not going to. I shouldn't say that 1,000 isn't possible until I actually see Joshua Filler actually try this, because he hasn't yet. And he's just – it's just thick.
Well, this brings me back to the point when you talk about Josh Filler, okay? He's probably the number 1 player in the world right now. I mean, he's obviously proven he's won back-to-back events. He might even snap off this tournament here. And he's playing with the best players in the world. And here's a guy that plays on 4 1/8-inch pockets and runs 200 every day he practices and quits. When he gets to 200, he quits. I asked him, I said, how many times have you run 200? He says, tons. He said, I do it every day when I practice. I said, well, how many days have you not done it? He says, what do you mean? I do it every day. I said, how many times have you not run 200, Josh? He says, you don't understand. I run it 200 every day and I quit. So how many runs would Josh Filler have? 5, 6, 7, maybe 800 if he would have kept playing. This is which I keep trying to tell everybody. But see, people got to understand something. Nobody has ever tried to break Mosconi's record but 2 people, John Schmidt and Earl Strickland. If it's anybody else, prove it to me. That's why that record was 65 years, because honestly, nobody gave a shit, to be honest with you. And Mosconi's highest run was not 526. He told me for sure 609, and he thinks that he broke 600 3 to 4 times. What he told me in Nashville, Tennessee, in '88 or '89 one of the last times I saw him. I was friends with Willie, but he just never counted. He didn't think if he didn't have an opponent, it didn't count. Which brings me to the next factor. When he ran 526, he started from an opening break. I mean, the guy that he's playing, Willie broke and played safe. The guy ran 4, then Willie took it off to 526. So he didn't start from an opening break shot with 14 balls plus a break ball. So this comes into Jayson's run. They started it from the foul, which they said was the inadvertent foul. So it started from that rack, which was the 3rd rack and a couple balls in. It was a 9 ball that he was shooting. So they started from that point on is where they started his run at, and that's where he ends up with 669, 714 minus 45. So that's going to be what I guess they're going to call the BCA tournament record, tournament standardized tournament rules record. But he does have 714 as the record still, though. I don't make sure I get that clear. But they want to put it in the rule book as 669. But I got a copy of any email that, Nate, if you wanted me to ever give to you, I can. Of all the emails I've had correspondence back to the BCA, they certainly said 714 happened, and we can call it whatever we want to. So that's where that's at. So QL files only has been the rule. And it's amazing because I think with 1,400 plus videos sold, and probably, you know, somebody in their family had to watch it with them, and then some of their friends, maybe 5, 6, 7,000 people. You understand what I'm saying? One person has seen what they appear to be a ball foul and called it out, and that was the guy that was in the first committee at the Westin Hotel in Denver on a 70-inch LG TV. I want to make sure I put that right. 70-inch, and they were on top of this TV trying to find something wrong. They were definitely pumped up to try to discredit this run.
Sure.
But when the meeting was done, Nate, they had said that they were the people that were voted on it, and they said 714 stands. This representative from the BCA said that he'll email me a certification out in 24 to 48 hours and mail me the certificate to give to Jayson. And then Mr. Goalpost changed about 3 more times there. And then the write-ups that I was given that the BCA was going to say, that got changed about 10 times. And then you asked what took so long. There's your answer, Mr. Goalpost.
Sure. So what? I guess that's a pretty good rundown of what actually happened, at least from your perspective. Where from here? What happens from here? What are we doing?
Well, Jayson's going to bust the record next week, the week after next. Enough said. So, I think it's a possibility we might even put a table in Jayson's homeroom, so he can just do it there in Connecticut too. He's going to go until he runs 1,000. He don't care about 714, 669, 800. He knows he has 1,000 in him. I don't know, Nate. I mean, you know, you always got to see to believe, but when a person's telling me they're going to do something, I always take a person on their word.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, the shots that he was shooting, the break shots that he was shooting, they're not easy. And he was firing in like back cut, 80-degree cuts all day long into the stack, and it was making him center of the pocket like it was nothing. I mean, what ball can he miss? I mean, you got to have you can take into account fluke scratches. Sure.
Great point. He had a skid on 407. He had a skid on 397, and he got tied up at 380, where the 2 balls just locked up in the center in the middle of the table. There's nothing he can do. Is he human? I don't know. Are Eagles human? No. So, I don't know. I mean, I think he shoots straighter than anybody in the world. Him and Filler, hands down. I mean, I don't know what more I can say. An amazing accomplishment. Everybody's proud of him. Now that we have this certification done, we're going to be taken to Sports Illustrated as they asked when everything was done. All of his home newspapers are they're ready for it. There's 5 newspapers in Glasgow, Scotland. We've held this off waiting for the BCA. And I'm trying to think myself, really, who is the BCA? Really, we should have already done this, but out of respect, that's what we wanted to do because they are the governing body in North America. Are they the governing biased body? I'll tell you this, Ivan's not biased. I'm not sure if the other guy is biased. Maybe he was just doing his job. But he sure made it difficult. And I want to let you know, we complied every time in every way that they asked anything to be done. So the bottom line is this. Jayson Shaw ran 714 and 669. He has 2 world records on a legit table, 4.9-inch corners, 5.3-inch sides, no modifications to the pocket angles or the facings or the slate lips. The BCA has gone through everything that they could to discredit the run. So all the haters, nut huggers, whatever you want to call them, sorry, guys. You can keep writing up what you want to, but it's certified. and we went through torture to get it done. I never really got Jayson involved in the process because I wanted him to be out there concentrating, making these $50,000 and $60,000 paydays that he has a chance at Matchroom. But I will assure you, Jayson's very happy with the money that he's made so far, and he's looking forward to going home with another Brinks truck soon.
Sure.
And
So
I
got 2 more questions for you.
Yep.
John Schmidt is out there trying to break the record again. I don't know how serious he is, but he's live streaming himself every day. If he wanted to play on your table, what would you say?
Well, we come in now. You're bringing this up, but I want to make sure I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying before. John is one of the best players, straight pool players that we've ever seen. The problem with John is there's 2 sides to a story, not one. There's 2, and everything boils down to first of all, he's not qualified under our committee guidelines. He doesn't have a world championship. There's the first problem. Is he qualified for the second tier? You're damn right he is. He's a hell of a player. So he's qualified for the second tier, and I'm going to get in and answer that question. But the next thing, positive attitude. How can I possibly let a guy or my committee let a guy in who does nothing but badmouth the promoter and also badmouth the Legends of Pocket Billiards? We're trying to help pool and bring straight pool back. He's a straight pool player, one of the best in the world. He should endorse it instead of putting me down. But I understand that, it's ego driven and he's got a gigantic ego. But what he should do is he should endorse what we're doing, and it would help his cause to be able to come play. I want him to come play. I want to make sure I get that straight. I would really love to have John Schmidt come and play in our event. But some things will have to change first. Several times he has badmouthed me, and he's gone and apologized on AZ Billiards and all this other things. But he went a little overboard this last time. Can I forgive him? Absolutely. He's a great player. He's one of the world's best. But, John, you're going to have to straighten up some your act, and you're going to have to tell the truth, too. You can't stretch the truth and on things that happen. And I never told my side of the story or anything because a lot of stuff that he said, quite frankly, is bullshit. So straighten up, John, and we'll review what you have to say. And I'd love for you to come play on an event that I'm having on a second tier, and maybe something can happen late this year or something when we're done with the regular players. But it's definitely going to have to be an apology of some sort, and he's going to have to explain his actions. That's where we're at there, Nate, on that part. And then from there, I want to let you know, too, even everything that he had said bad about me, I probably was one of the first players to make contact to him to congratulate him on the 626 run. So it couldn't have been that bad. I can't really hate the guy if I'm going to congratulate him. I was never out to ruin his life or anything. You can ask Mark Griffin. It's actually printed also. Mark Griffin had made a Facebook post that I had decided, me and Mark Griffin had talked about putting something together, and where he would support and sponsor something 5-6 years ago before John ran 626. So John didn't light no fuse for the Legends of Pocket Billiards. Make that clear. It didn't happen. But certainly I think he may have lit something underneath Jayson today. I don't know what got into Jayson, but he seems pretty excited.
Sure.
So stay tuned there.
And then the last question I have for you, I'll get you out on this one. 10 years down the line, who has the straight pool record and what is it?
It won't be me and it won't be Nate. Okay, so let's just go from there.
All right, fine.
I'll be honest with you. I hope it's a woman. How about that? It'd be nice to see a woman jump up and run 700 or 800 balls, Well,
that'd be really fun. But we're not. No. You know straight pool way too well. You're way too plugged into this game. There's no way we're letting you out on that one. Who is it? Give us an answer.
10 years from now, Jayson Shaw runs 925.
That's quite a run.
Yes. And Josh Filler runs 860. Darren Appleton runs 850.
Nate runs.
Neight Mindham runs 38.
Oh, that'd be a new high run for me.
I'm really looking forward, Nate, to the women coming in. The high run for the women is 159. That's 11 racks, or 158. That's 11 racks and 5 balls beats it. I won't announce the players that are coming in yet, but it's getting ready to happen soon. So we're looking forward to the women setting the world record. Maybe Jayson Shaw resetting his record. I just wanted to make sure I talked about what was happening in the goalpost moving, and that the Legends of Pocket Billiards and myself have complied with the BCA. So all the rumors about this and that and everything can be settled, and it's all over now. There was no modifications. There was nothing strange about the table. There was nothing strange about the run. Completely no editing of any videos. That's basically it. There's nothing more I can say. Congratulations to Jayson. We're all very proud of him. Wow, he holds 2 world records instead of 1. Yeah, right. So that's where we're at. There's nothing more I can say. Somebody had asked me earlier concerning what process that John Schmidt went through. The only thing I know that there was 3 people that saw his video, from what I was told, and his video was done from a distance. So they really couldn't tell for sure if any balls were fouled. Not saying he did foul, but in all fairness to John, if he did, he would probably be under the understanding of playing on a Rule 21 too. So if John fouled 3 or 4 times, it shouldn't be a foul to him either. I'm not saying he did or didn't, but one guy that watched the video is in his 70s. Another guy knew nothing about pool, and the representative from the BCA told me he knew nothing even what to look for, and it was never reviewed by any committee, where ours went through 3 committees. But I'm sure he was playing under cue ball fouls only, as he had expressed that was the way that he plays, and I got no quarrels with that whatsoever. But 626 is one hell of a run, and he's a great player. And I didn't know that he was playing again, but I hope that he does well. And I'm looking forward to the women playing and Jayson Shaw coming back to reset his own record. And hopefully that'll happen soon. If not, he's also hard scheduled in October to come play for a week also. So, but I think we might discuss putting a table at his place too. And right now we're in talks now, trying to figure out how to start a world championship and getting the world championship done for straight pool again, legitimately through the WPA and be sanctioned to be a true world tournament, not this a world championship, not a world tournament where they use the world name world, and inviting all the best players around to play in it. And if that happens, certainly John would be invited. I would have no problem with that either. But hopefully I've answered all the questions. For the people that hate me out there, hate Jayson. He's the one who ran 714. But it's okay. I don't mind. I mean, it's okay. But there's 2 sides to a story. Finishing up concerning Mr. Schmidt is, I don't know if there's anything else you want to cover, but hopefully we've covered a lot.
Covers everything I got. Yep.
Yeah. So congratulations to Jayson. Please, everybody, please don't send me any more messages. Literally, I'm telling you, my phone went dead. And I have a second phone, and my messenger's blowed up from that. It is what it is. We have 669 by Mr. Goalpost that set that number, and then 714 by the BCA. So there's where it's at. So I'm looking forward to one thing I do want to touch on, Nate. Let me pull up my other phone real quick so I can read this to you. This was really important. The BCA is setting guidelines, and they have it posted on there to contact them concerning what guidelines there will be. So I want to make sure that let's see if I can get to this to tell you what some of the guidelines that were talked about will happen, if I can find it. Probably would be kind of important.
Sure. And I'll have you send them to me too. I'll post them to the Facebook page so that everybody can see them.
They said these are going to be some that they're considering. Some of these are actually hard rules as of right now. So that was kind of the situation. They were going to put out guidelines, but they didn't want to put it into the statement. So anyway, the table must have pockets no bigger than 5 inches at the corners and 5.5 inches at the sides. Measurements must be done, provided by video and the use of digital calipers. No heaters underneath the table. Once a high run starts, balls should not be removed or cleaned or polished or replaced except the cue ball, and a proper ball marker must be used. Using chalk or coins is unacceptable. Balls that have anything on them can have the debris removed during racking, not during play. So you can't just take the balls off and clean them. You can't run them through a ball polisher. You can't replace them. I know I got a lot of shit from Earl doing that, where Earl just put a piece of chalk down and took the cue ball off the table and polished it. Well, I think you should use a ball marker. I think everybody does anyway, but Earl didn't do it. I let Earl just be Earl, okay? I couldn't stop him. I mean, I did say something to him afterwards, but at that time, my guy. It was all done. They have a thing where they're talking about considering with the cameras, maybe 2 cameras, and the cameras have to be of the highest resolution where the numbers and balls are clearly visible and identifiable. No cell phone videos, cameras. There must be a rack outline drawn in black on the table, on the cloth, to make sure no break balls are in the rack area. A tap table or permanent template or standard wooden, plastic, or metal racks are acceptable. And a slate must remain standard and cannot be sanded or filed at the pockets or anywhere else. Those were just some of the guidelines that they had sent me, that they're going through the process here of making those official. And some of them, I guess, maybe they're all official. I don't know. But I'll send those to you once they're sent to me. Sure. But this what I have here already came from the BCA, so I guess that's what they're considering. So there are some guidelines about cleaning the balls right now. So I know that for sure. That's a rule that is definitely in place. Sure. So for Jayson, John, or whoever, you pull the balls off the table or you polish them while they're in play, your run's probably going to be voided.
Yep. Well, at least it's in place now. I mean, it's
well,
you know exactly what you're working with.
That's what we're talking about. So I think that's pretty much I think those are pretty much official, but they didn't want to do that with the press release at the same time. The press release came to me as a surprise. It got sent to me this morning. And they had some errors, like my name was on that and they spelled my name wrong, and they took something out, put something in, and you know, the BCA is going to do whatever they're going to do. One of the members, they're in the goalpost business, so Mr. Right. GT for short. But anyway, Ivan Lee is a gentleman. I'm glad that he got involved and that the process was done. As for the other BCA representative, I hope that he remains, or that the next run will be much easier. How's that sound? Because I'm going to tell you, the next run, if Jayson beats the record, it'll be approved the next day. If Jayson beats somebody else's record, it'll probably be another 120 days. That's what the bottom line happened to. The goalpost, Mr. Goalpost. But we're looking forward, Nate, we're looking forward to our event starting. We should be starting here in about 2 weeks. Let me move the camera here. I don't know if you can see this or not. Here's our table. All we got to do here is just, we got the table set up. It's in blue. We're changing it to green. And the pockets will be, you know, be about the same, just a little under what they were with when Jayson ran his high run. I think they're going to be about 4 7/8 and 5 1/4, somewhere in there. I don't know. The only thing that they're doing to the table is taking the thin facings off, and like they did on the other table, and just putting thinner facings on. That's it. So the table's already set up. We're just going to change it to green. So there's nobody that's mitering rails and the shelf depth and all this other BS bullshit that people are trying to discredit Jayson. It's very disrespectful. But in either case, I understand. No matter you know, it's sort of the saying, Nate. I said when I had my event, I can make it solid silver, and people will complain it's not solid gold. I make it solid gold, and they'll complain it's not solid platinum. So there's people out there, no matter what, are going to discredit things. But right now, this is Jayson Shaw's day. It's certified with the BCA. He has 2 records, 2 instead of 1. I'm very proud of him. I'm looking forward to him and all the other players participating, and we're going to be doing this for years to come. Not 10 years from now, I don't think so, but it'd be good. And we've had to have a break. I got off this order. What's taking so long? We just remodeled our whole entire town. We got all brand new diamonds into place, except for one predator table, one gold crown. Got all brand new Littman lights into place. Repainted the place. We built an addition. We built an area for commentary. So we're trying to do everything we can to make this bigger and better, and it'll get better. We just got started. We didn't do things like the scoring and things like that for people, but it's gotten better. So I hope everybody tunes in. Go to the Legends of the Pocket Billiards. We're certainly on Facebook. We'd love to have everybody. Keep your comments clean. You can stay on as long as you want to. Support the sponsors. They don't pay for anything, but certainly we want to have them involved, and they donate some products and stuff like that. So, Nate, I think that's probably pretty much most of everything. And unless you have any other questions, I think we're good to go. And look forward to having a podcast here when Jayson gets back from England.
Yep, I'm happy to have you on tonight. I'm glad that we got to hear this side of the story, and I guess we've been waiting to have you on this podcast for quite a while, so we finally got you on. Unfortunately, it's not under the best of circumstances, but I
think it's fantastic circumstances, to be honest with you. Two records are better than one. It's just a shame that Jayson got discredited for something, but you know what? It's all pretty good. We're really good with everything, and Jayson just told me, it doesn't matter because he's going to beat it anyway. And it's possible. I think it can happen, but I don't think you got to be lucky. You got to avoid being unlucky, and that's where it's going to be at. So we continue to. Hopefully, everybody can be more positive about things and go from there. I'm sorry that I couldn't answer any of your the people that have questions in the chat. I'm not able to actually see them on my phone. If I'd have done it on my webcam, probably I would have been able to. But maybe next time we'll be able to answer the questions and get them together. And I appreciate everybody being respectful and stay tuned. We're really going to take this to the next level. The record is only the beginning. We're looking forward to hosting the World Championships. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, it's going to take a little time. Hopefully, we get a women's world record. And we just had our first big straight pool event this last week. We only had 13 players with $1,750 added, $2,400 first place. So at least we had one tournament starting, but hopefully we'll have something in the $50,000 to $60,000 first place range here soon. It's going to take a little time, but it's going to happen. So we're really happy. We're happy where everything's going at the Legends of Pocket Billiards. So for anybody that's on your podcast, go over there, like our page. You'll get the notifications from us. Our stuff will always be free. You'll never pay for something. We don't have GoFundMe pages. We don't have any tricks or games. We don't sell anything in that direction except memorabilia.
Sure.
Because we want to share it to the world. Yeah. Nate, good luck with your tournament. I hope that you play better because that was a bad 8-ball you missed.
Yeah, well, it was a bad 8-ball, wasn't it? All right. Well, Bobby, thank you again for joining us, and thanks everybody else for tuning in and commenting and all that good stuff.
Yeah, see everybody soon. Stay tuned on our page. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Bye, everyone.